Hi everyone, I am Sheri and welcome back to Sheri Approved. Thank you so much for joining me today. And yeah, let's just deal with it right away. My voice, I have no idea what's going on, but let's just hope that I could make it through this video. So how you all going? I hope everybody's doing fine. But in today's video, it actually was a suggestion again by Makeup by Deidre on Instagram, because we were having a conversation and we were talking about that a lot of us may be having a lot of products, we are buying a lot of things, we are collecting a lot of skincare, maybe because you have subscription boxes, or you see a sale, or you see a video and you click a link or you buy something and it's piling up. But sometimes it could become overwhelming to try to figure out how to incorporate all of these products into your routine, how to use them, when to use them, what to use them with. So we were having that discussion, and the idea that she gave me was, Sheri, why don't you do a video about this? So in today's video, we will discuss planning your nighttime skincare routines. So off the bat, I'm just going to say that this video is not for the skincare newbies. So if you've just started your skincare routine, you might want to click out, or you could stay very well and look at this video. But I'm just letting you know that it may be a little bit more intense. Grab your notebooks and your notepads, because we're going to go through some things and some pointers that I want to share with you with regards to your skincare routines. So this video will be applicable to those people, like I said, who, you've gone past just a basic skincare routine. You're including a lot of different active ingredients. You're buying a lot of products, but now you're like, how do I get through this? And how do I use all of these products in my skincare routine? So I will share a couple of tips with you, and the first one that I want to share with you is to make an inventory. Do an inventory of all the products that you own. I mentioned this before, like I think in a couple of posts, because I was sharing with you guys that I was actually decluttering recently my masks. I was going through my mask collection. I love wash-off masks, and I split them between my Korean or Asian beauty mask and then my Western masks, and I was going through to just make sure there is nothing that's expired and all of that. So do that for all of the skincare products that you have, because I know there are a lot of people that will message me to get help with their skincare routine. They want to purchase something new, but the first thing I usually ask, beside knowing your skin type, what issues you want to treat and so on, is like, what products do you actually have? Because perhaps you probably don't even need to buy anything new. You probably already have something that you can try, and that's really, really important. But if you're like me, some years ago, I used to be buying things without being aware of the fact that, oops, I already have a backup of this product perhaps, or I have something else that I could actually use when something else is finished, and then I would keep buying and buying and buying. No, my skincare collection is, like I've said before, it is ridiculous. There are things that I have and I am getting constantly, because I'm always testing skincare and, to do reviews and that kind of thing. So that is completely not normal. So really don't look at my skincare collection as anything to be an example. But when you do an inventory, simply, whether you're going to use an Excel spreadsheet, because that's what I did, or you're going to just take pen and paper and write it down, go through and write down everything. And then what I want you to do is categorize it in two ways. One, you're going to categorize your products by the type of products. So for example, when you write everything down, you make one column and you put, okay, these are cleansers, these are toners, these are serums, these are masks, moisturizers, whatever. So categorize them by the type of product. And the next category you want to put next to each product is, what are the key ingredients, especially if they're active ingredients. So that's not going to apply to everything. For example, there might be some cleansers that it's just a nice cleanser. It doesn't necessarily have, let's say, salicylic acid or some key or active ingredient. And then there may be some toners, moisturizers as well that may fall in that category. A lot of times you will find some of the active ingredients or the key ingredients in things like serums, in essences, sometimes in toners. You may find some component of it in masks, in moisturizers and cleansers as well. But again, that's why it's going to be really, really, really important for you to categorize based on the key ingredients in your product. And you don't have to be like skincare scientist to be able to do this. You literally just either need to look at the back of your packaging, and you should be able to figure it out, especially if you've been doing this thing for a little while. You will know these, the terms and the names, or you simply go online, do a Google search, you type the name of the product and put ingredients, it's going to come up, and you'll be able to see the type of product it is. Now, when I say the active ingredient, you're going to look for whether this product is a niacinamide-based product, it's a retinol, it's an acid, what type of acid, that kind of thing. And this is going to provide the foundation or the landscape with which you will start planning your nighttime skincare routines. Now, why are we planning our nighttime skincare routines? Now, for somebody who's doing a very basic skincare routine, their nighttime skincare routine might be the same every night. But if you're like me, and I know a lot of you are, you're a little bit extra, or perhaps because you have a lot of skin issues, or maybe you just love using a lot of different types of ingredients on your skin, you are in a system, or you're trying to develop a system of proper rotation, or being able to alternate between products. And that's really why. So in that case, your nighttime skincare routine is not the same every single night. Mine isn't. However, there is a method to the madness, as I always say. So yes, so you want to make sure that you have this inventory and you do that categorization. Once you have that categorization, we will move to the next step. One of the things that I like to ask myself, now you could ask yourself this at the beginning or literally at the end, is really and truly, if you're also like me, you collect a lot of masks, be it sheet masks or wash off masks, and those also need to be categorized, your wash off masks as well. So don't skip that out when you're doing a categorization, because the question you want to ask yourself is how often realistically you will probably mask. Okay, and that goes for both, whether they're wash off mask or sheet mask. Now me, I actually use sheet masks specifically at certain points in time. I use wash off masks way more than I use sheet masks, and I do wash off masks almost every night. But if I'm going to be realistic, I will tell myself that I will probably do a wash off mask every other night. That helps me put my masks into a rotation, and it's also going to be based on the particular skincare routine of that night. So that's why I said this particular question you could ask yourself before you start to create your schedule or after you created your schedule. Once we're going to create these schedules, you can do it a couple ways. So there are a couple apps that you can use. I think a couple weeks ago, one of you guys actually sent me a message with an app that you found to keep track of your skincare routines. Really, really interesting. In order to use it, you actually need to put in, again, all the products that you have so that you can be able to pull and say, yes, I did this on Monday, I did this on Tuesday, I did this on Wednesday, etc. Or you could do like me, when I was doing this at the beginning, and literally just have a journal, get a diary, get a little notepad, get some sticky notes literally, and you can do it on that until you get accustomed to your rotation or your routine. I'm saying that because I don't depend on paper or an app anymore, simply because it has become like second nature to me. So once I know that I did, let's say I did retinol last night, I know that tonight is not retinol. And that's the only thing that I literally need to keep track of. And because it's my routine, it's very, very easy for me to do that. But when you are now trying to get your stuff into proper rotation and create, let's say a nighttime skincare routine for every day of the week, you want to really start writing this down so that you could follow it, and you can also, it is also going to be able to give you something to check back in case something happens with your skin. So in case you probably notice that you have an extra skin irritation, you could go back and say, okay, I need to probably drop this off. I need to spread out the time that I do this. It's going to be really, really important as you develop this. And why is that important? It's because everybody's skin is not the same. Some people's skin could handle more, some people less. I like to go with the philosophy that gentle over a longer term is better. But that's simply because I'm trying to avoid irritation. I'm trying to avoid, overstimulating my skin or creating hot spots and that kind of thing. And it's something that you need to be mindful of. When it comes to skin, there are a lot of people who jump in and they want instant results. And that's something that I warn you guys about all the time. Skincare is not for overnight or today for tomorrow kind of thing. It is really for the long haul. And there are some ingredients that you will see faster results with than others, but you really need to be consistent, and it really needs to be over a period of time. The next thing we want to take into consideration before we actually go into listing out everything we're going to do from Sunday to Saturday is let's just talk a little bit about some ingredients. Now, I'm going to mention a couple ingredients here. I'm not going to be able to cover everything. I'm going to cover what I consider to be the more popular ones. And that will be in order for us to, give you a starting point in terms of creating or planning different skincare routines for every night. I will not talk about vitamin C, and while vitamin C can be used at night, most dermatologists will recommend that it should be used in the daytime, and there are lots of reasons for that. So I will hardly ever use vitamin C at nighttime, and I'm glad, because I'm glad to have vitamin C as my antioxidant and so on in the morning, and so that allows me to use other active ingredients at night. So the first one I will mention is niacinamide. And like I said, I'm not going to go into the different benefits and so on of each of these categories of ingredients. But I just want to mention in terms of what they work with, so that you have an idea in terms of when you start to lay out your skincare routine plan for every night. So starting with niacinamide. Niacinamide, if you remember, in one of my recent videos, I think it was the Cos de Baja review video, I mentioned that niacinamide works with a lot of different active ingredients. So niacinamide is one of those ingredients that you could actually use every single night, because it works with almost everything. So unless you have an allergy to niacinamide, niacinamide is going to be a friend. One of the main reasons for that is because niacinamide really helps to reduce irritation in the skin and redness. So especially when you're going to be using active ingredients like acids or retinol, where there's increased risk of irritation, you already have something that's going to be helping you to buffer it there. That's why niacinamide is so important in a skincare routine. So niacinamide can work with AHAs, alpha hydroxy acids, BHAs, such as salicylic acid. It can work as well with retinol, and it works as well really, really good with azelaic acid. And I mentioned azelaic acid in this video because it is one of those ingredients that is considered to be the underdog, but it's really a star ingredient. A lot of people are getting into azelaic acid. The next one, like I just said, azelaic acid, is another one that surprisingly can work with almost, or I should say most, of these active ingredients. Azelaic acid, while it exfoliates, it works a little bit different from the other AHAs and BHAs. So it works different from glycolic, lactic, mandelic, salicylic, and so on. Azelaic acid could actually be used with niacinamide, it could be used with AHAs, it could be used with BHAs, and it could also be used with retinol. However, you want to, while these are like very broad categorizations or broad associations, it might very well be that your skin might be the one where a particular combination may create increased irritation. So again, all of these combinations, you want to make sure you test them out, you patch test, and you go in slowly and just check and make sure that your skin can handle it. The next set of ingredients will be BHAs, and the most popular BHA is salicylic acid. Salicylic acid works well, like I said, with niacinamide. You can use it with azelaic acid. You could also use salicylic acid with other AHAs. So salicylic acid can be paired with lactic acid, glycolic acid, mandelic acid. However, I would not recommend that you use salicylic acid with retinol. Retinol by itself can also be very, very irritating, while it is a phenomenal ingredient, and you really don't want to put those two together on the same night. And when I'm saying use together, I'm not talking about alternating. I mean using them on the same night. So therefore, it means that if I'm going to use salicylic tonight and I want retinol is the other key ingredient that's in my skincare routine, I will use retinol another night. AHAs, similar to BHAs, can be used with niacinamide. It can be used with azelaic acid, can be used with salicylic acid. But again, you don't want to use glycolic, lactic, mandelic. You don't want to use those with retinol. And finally, one of the main ingredients that a lot of people include in their skincare routines, which is retinol. You want to make sure that you don't combine retinol with salicylic or any of the AHAs as well, but be sure to combine retinol with niacinamide. You can actually also use with azelaic, as I mentioned before. And finally, let me just mention hyaluronic acid, which is actually found now in a lot of different skincare products. So sometimes it's not even necessary to buy a separate hyaluronic acid serum itself, because it's found in so many different serums and toners and essences now. But hyaluronic acid, while there is the name acid, a lot of people get scared and think, oh my God, it's exfoliating like glycolic and so on. It does not. Hyaluronic acid is actually a molecule that helps to attract moisture to the skin. So hyaluronic acid is one of those acids that can actually be used with all of these. So you can use hyaluronic acid with niacinamide, azelaic acid, AHAs, BHAs, and retinol. Now we are ready to create our plan. We have a list of all the products that we have. We know the categories that they fall in terms of the type of product. We know the active ingredients in each of the products, and now to figure out how we're going to do this. So what you want to decide on really is having maybe 1 or 2, maximum 3 key ingredients as part of your plan. And like I said, this is not for newbies. These are for people who have been doing a skincare routine and really keeping up with it for a while. So let's say, like in my case, and I'm going to give you an example of my routine so that you have an idea, because everybody's routine is going to be different. And I want to encourage you that if you want some help and you want to send me an email or send me a message, you can feel free to do that, so I could kind of go over with you and give you some guidance just based on my own knowledge and experience. And let me just say here again that I'm not a dermatologist or anything like that. And always, if you do have some real skin issue, skin problem that cannot be addressed by over-the-counter products, please go see your dermatologist. So you have everything set out, and for me, the key ingredients that are in my rotation is definitely retinol, definitely salicylic acid because I'm oily, acne prone, and I also do use AHAs. So you want to remember to keep the order of your routine consistent in terms of these steps. Once you have these steps and you list these steps, it's going to be very easy for you to put next to each step which product you're going to use. So for example, I will start off with putting a double cleanse. Then I will put maybe a wash off mask there, because that doesn't have to happen every night, but I'm just going in steps. Then I will have my toner or essence, or toner and essence, then my serums, then my moisturizer or sleeping mask, and then some people may use a facial oil. If you do use sheet masks, you want to include it in the serum step. And you can use sheet masks, really, it's best to use them after you apply your serums and then you put your sheet mask on, or you don't use serums at all and you use a sheet mask in place of that, because sheet masks essentially are filled with serums. Okay, so once you have that base, you list it out. So you get a piece of paper, you list out the order of your routine and you list out the days at the top, right? So I mean, you could do this however one, you could get very creative, you could do it on a vision board, whatever, just to make it very attractive and easy for you. And because you have now decided what is going to be the focus of your routine, because you've chosen the ingredients that you want to incorporate, now you start to fill them in. So in my case, I have been doing this for quite a while. So my skin can handle retinol 3 times a week. So I will do retinol 3 times a week. However, I will not do retinol on 3 consecutive days or 3 consecutive nights. So let's say my retinol nights are Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So that's the first thing I'm going to pen in. So in the serum section of my plan, I will put retinol, okay? Because I'm going to build everything else around this key ingredient. Now, you may only be able to use retinol 1 night or 2 nights per week, which means that you have way more days to play with in terms of other things that you can do. But I am using retinol at maximum 3 times a week, so that's how I will do that. I will also rotate retinol with my acids. So Monday will be retinol, Tuesday will be acid. Wednesday retinol, Thursday acid, Friday retinol, Saturday acid. So I will rotate for 6 days, and Sunday is going to be my off day. Now, again, this is just what I do. And when I say my off day, meaning I'm not going to be using any of these strong products. I'm on Sunday, let's say Sunday is my off day. I'm going to use that day to really just lather on some skin barrier building ingredients, or just skin loving ingredients. Nothing that's going to be harsh or crazy or anything that could possibly cause irritation. I just want to give my skin a little bit of a break, and then I will start back again on Monday. So Now that I know that Monday is going to be my retinol night, I know that retinol pairs really well with niacinamide. I can decide, you know, the other things that I'm going to fill in into my skincare routine. So, like I said, cleansers in general, unless you're using a medicated cleanser or a cleanser that has some kind of active ingredient, the cleansers are not so much of an issue. And in any case, those rinse off. But the toners, the essences, the ones that you really want to watch in terms of, and other serums in terms of what you're going to actually be pairing. So because, like I said, I know retinol pairs well with niacinamide, I may choose to use a niacinamide toner. Essences in general usually don't have retinol per se or acids. There are a couple essences that will contain acids. Cosrx has a whole range, Isntree has a whole range, but in general essences will be like a lot of hyaluronic acid, snail mucin, propolis, different types of ingredients that really just draw moisture and give hydration to the skin. So unless you're using one of those essences that does have one of these active ingredients that we're talking about, some type of acid, that's when you really need to be careful. But besides that, you could go right in with laying out the list of essences that you're going to use. So I will use a niacinamide toner, then I will choose an essence that appropriate. Generally, I love to layer hydrating products before my active ingredients and after my active ingredients. So I tend to use the essence step to do this. So I will choose whether it is my Centellazia Campule or my new From Fig essence that I'm loving. While that has some salicylic acid, it's very, very little, so it will still work fine. I could use a snail mucin there because that will also be a good option. But I mean, in general, you have to look again based on what you have and you make a choice because you would have listed next to the key ingredients in those essences. So I would lay out my toner, lay out my essence, and then I have my retinol. But like I said, I like to layer hydration before and after. So most nights I will use two serums. I will use the serum that I want to focus on with my retinol, and then I will go in with a hydrating serum right after. So again, based on looking at your list or your inventory, you could choose one. So I have so many options when it comes to hydrating serum. So again, I could use something that's niacinamide maize, or sometimes it's something with rice, something with honey, something with mushrooms, different things. There are a lot of options. Again, you want to make sure that that hydrating serum does not include any of the things that does not pair well with retinol. So I will not choose anything with AHAs or BHAs to create any conflict or any irritation in my skin. And then finally, you will have your moisturizer and your sleeping mask. There are some moisturizers that will have maybe retinol. There are some that may have a little bit of glycolic acid, and if that's the case, because you would have noted that, then you will know, okay, I can't pair that one on my retinol night, but perhaps on my acid night I can do so. So I would have laid out my Monday night, and on Tuesday night it's my acid night. But in my case, the acid that I choose is actually based on what's happening with my skin. So if I'm actually having breakouts, then that acid night will be focused on salicylic acid. The good thing though is that I can pair salicylic acid with AHAs like glycolic and lactic. But how do I pair that? I love actually on my salicylic acid night to use a glycolic acid toner. And again, glycolic acid toners is something that you want to be careful with, because depending on the percentage, that will indicate how often you should use it. So you also want to be careful. If it's Pixie Glow Tonic, that's almost fine to use every night, except on your retinol night, for example. But if you're using something a little bit stronger, like the ordinary glycolic solution, or the Cos de Baja 7%, or maybe the Cosrx 7%, then those you know that you could probably use just maybe 2 or 3 times per week. So you need to be careful. I can pair that with my salicylic acid, but I would not pair one of those stronger glycolic acid toners with, let's say, a glycolic 10% serum. So you need to really, really be careful. You could see that this could get extremely detailed, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how you can actually lay it out. But to do that, again, you really need to have that base, that inventory of having all your products and the information that I said that you should have next to those products in order to create this, because if you don't and you do it wrongly, you could actually create more problems for your skin than you actually want. So I can't believe that I'm about to say this, but everybody looking at this video, you have some Sheri approved homework, right? So really and truly, if you're one of those people that you're trying because you have a lot of products you've been accumulating and you want to make sure that you make the best use of your products, then go do the homework, create the inventory, start making your list. You guys send me photos, tag me, send me DMs, and let's work on it together. But I want to also mention this. Now, when you do your inventory and you go through these products, if you find that there are things that you have that is not applicable to your skin type, or you know you tried it and you did not like it, or you're not going to use it, give it away. Throw it out. If anything is expired, get rid of it. Like declutter, so you know you're starting completely fresh and you know that these are the products that you're working with, so that you would be able to develop something that is actually doable and attainable. And once you've actually now laid out your entire skincare routine, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, up until Sunday, just create 1 week, and then you can do that whole week again the next week. Once you've created that routine, then you are able to see the products that you are not going to be using. And it may not be that you wouldn't use it at all, but it could just mean that you need to pack it away. You could pack them away for 3 or 4 months, and then in 3 or 4 months you could probably decide, I want to do a completely new rotation of different products or different actives, and you could do that. But yeah, you put them away so it's not in your face, it's not in your eyes, it's not going to confuse you, and we're not going to get in trouble. Okay, so guys, I hope this is helpful. I know this is a mouthful and you may need to watch this video a couple times in order to get everything, but please feel free. If you have questions, definitely leave them in comments below. Send me DMs, send me messages. I'll be willing to answer them. It will take some time, so please bear with me. But guys, it was so nice sharing with you today, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.